Live from the City of Angels here on this Sunday morning, you are watching Breaking Box Office with Dune 2 numbers. We have the biggest debut of 2024. We knew that was going to happen. Let's start with the domestic number because it is strong, just a shade under Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer 82.5, Dune 2 at 81.5 million. Remember, they estimate Sunday, so we could see this number go up or down. I have a feeling that Warner Brothers shoved this number high because they knew that they could get that 2 times the original Dune 41. So now at 81 and a half, you can say it doubled up the first Dune, which is important to storylines for media here on the Sunday. But either way, it's a great debut. Here it comes direct from the Warner Brothers email. Let's get into the nuts and bolts. I know you guys love this stuff because it is really interesting to see how it performed both in the PLF screens and then nationwide, where to do best, all of that. 81.5 million domestically. We'll get to the international numbers momentarily. Per location average, $20,000 per at 4,000 plus locations. So largest opening weekend of 2024. It is that really high Rotten Tomatoes score of 94%, along with the 95% audience score and the cinema score of A, which means fantastic word of mouth. Overall, PLF, that is the IMAX, the Dolby, the 4DX, 70 millimeter, you name it, anything that's a premium screen, 48% of the business came from those screens. It's a record opening for IMAX in March with 18.5 million overall from IMAX alone. That's 23% of the market share. So again, most people are going to see this thing in IMAX. Now, granted, that's not most. I mean, it's still 70+% of the people did not. But if you're a hardcore movie fan, what are you going to do? You're going to see this movie in IMAX. You're going to see it in PLF if you don't have IMAX near you, whatever that is, Dolby, the 4DX, something large, not the regular screen. Top 10 locations. Let's do it right now. AMC Lincoln Square, New York City. Number 1, TCL Chinese with that massive IMAX here in LA. Number 2. Number 3, Cineplex Cinema in Montreal. Number 4, AMC in San Francisco, the Metreon. Number 5, Regal Irvine Spectrum. That's in Orange County here in LA area. And AMC Burbank at number 6. We're falling. That's my home theater. Why so far down, guys? Cineplex Toronto is 7. AMC Empire, New York City, number 8. City Walk, Universal right down the street from me here in LA, number 9. And number 10 is Kips Bay, New York, the AMC there. Top 10 markets are LA, New York, San Fran, Toronto, Dallas, Seattle, Washington, D.C., Chicago, Salt Lake City, and Denver. Toronto, no surprise, Denis, Canadian. Hello, boom. There we go. That's how we get that market's even bigger. Certainly Montreal was big for this movie as well. Largest opening of all time for Denis, for Chalamet, for Ferguson, and for Butler. Someone came after me and said, well, what about Zendaya? Well, help me out, guys. What was Zendaya in that made even more money than Dune Part 2? Spider-Man No Way Home. Any of the Spider-Man movies are bigger than this. So that's at first you say, wait a second, what about Zendaya? The one I couldn't figure out, I was sitting here trying to think about this. What about, what's her name? From, I already know the answer to that. I already know it's Black Widow, right? It's got to be. It's got to be Black Widow. All right, let's go internationally here with this, and it got 97 million internationally, 178.5 million for the debut overall worldwide. And here is the international email. Let me pop it up. And let's get to most of the countries that we saw this debut. No China yet. Let's see. Does it have China? I have not checked. I assume it's got China. There's nothing in it that should be offensive to the Chinese market. Let's go. United States, number 1, 81.5. UK, 11.8 million. In second place, France, 9.6 million. Germany, 9.1. Korea, 6.9. Australia, 6. Mexico, 3.9. Italy, 3.9. Spain, 3.5. Top markets, as I just went through right there. International highlights, number 1 film, both internationally and globally for the weekend. Open with that 97 million for the 178.5 worldwide. Number 1 film in 67 markets. Number 1 U.S. film in all 71 released markets. Estimated weekend admissions came in at astounding 11.1 million. So that means 11.1 million people saw this movie this weekend. It's always interesting. We talk about the numbers, right, for the movies, but we don't ever talk about the actual people that went in. Obviously, it's a big swath of humanity that saw this weekend. In like-for-like markets using today's exchange rates, the film is tracking 76% ahead of the original Dune. Remember, Dune was released 2021 when COVID fear was still spread throughout the universe. So as such, those numbers are lower for Dune. It would have performed better without that. 79% better than Ready Player One. Interesting. They're going with Warner Brothers films here. Obviously, it's Warner Brothers. 96% better than Godzilla vs. Kong, and only 12% behind Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, 16% behind Oppenheimer. So there's your direct comparison. 16% under Oppenheimer right now, just to show you how that film was such a phenomenon, right? Definitely benefited from the Barbenheimer phenomenon. The 1-2 punch of those two films we'll never see anytime soon. It's just not going to happen at any time in the next several years, if not ever again. These things are rare, right? Like Endgame. We act like they come around all the time. It just doesn't happen. So as such, it's a hit, right? Listen, guys, this is a successful debut. No one is going to tell you it is not. I think when you look at the numbers, I think a lot of people thought maybe this could get over 100 million in the United States. I had it at, remember, when I put this thing out on Thursday night, we do the projector, I had it 85. We're a shade under that, so I'm very close again. I thought it could get there, not to 100. This is just not as big a film as Marvel when it was at its peak, right? When you look at a Dune 2, certainly you love it, I love it. It's more of a cinephilic, right? Meditative kind of thing. Certainly the first one, that's why I prefer it. But when you look at this, it just doesn't have quite the universal appeal of an Avatar, of an MCU film in the heyday. So it's just a shade under. But that said, I think with the word of mouth here, with that A Cinema score, strong word of mouth, I think we're going to look at drops that are very strong. In other words, it might be a minus 45. If you're lucky, get it under minus 50. Anything there is solid as we continue, and there's really nothing coming. I mean, you look at what's headed in the next few weeks, we really have nothing that's going to present a problem for this, maybe until May. I mean, there's a couple of smaller things. Nothing is really substantial, even Godzilla versus Kong. Is anyone excited for Godzilla versus Kong? I'm not. I mean, we've seen this. How many times have we seen Godzilla versus Kong? And just the recent incarnation of Godzilla minus one. I love Godzilla, and I'm Godzilla'd out. I have no interest in Godzilla versus Kong. It's fine. I'm sure I'll see it, but I just am not excited for it. I imagine you guys aren't either. I mean, I don't know why you would be that excited. Poor Things crossed 100 million worldwide. It's official, 104 million worldwide. I don't want to talk about it. That's it. I mention it because I'm a journalist first and foremost. Therefore, it's in the stream. Otherwise, we ain't talking about it. Got it? All right, let's go to the top 10 domestic box office here on this Sunday morning. We're back tonight with a deep dive on Dune. Did you love the movie? Let's talk about the box office country by country again, demos, all that stuff. We'll break it down. Your comments. What do you think about this opening? Did you like it? Did you not like it? I'll try to get to a couple comments before we get out of here. This stream's going to be tight like always on Sunday morning. Number one, Dune 2 at 81.5. One Love is up to 82.7 million domestically, as it was down just 45% this weekend. Ordinary Angels minus 38%. That's a very good hold. I figured it would do so, as it has an A+ cinema score. That means the word of mouth is crazy strong. Faith-based film. It'll do well. 12.5 million so far. Madam Web at 40.4 million, down only 46%. But when you're as low as it already is, it's just kind of like, well, I mean, minus 46. People are still curious. What makes this movie so terrible? Go see it. You'll see. You'll recognize it the moment the movie starts. Chosen, season 4, again, still in the top 10. Number 5, Migration, now at over 150 million internationally, 123 here in the States. So it's getting a sequel there from Illumination. Demon Slayer was down a huge 82% weekend to weekend, the anime film. And it's at 15.7 million. Wonka is now at 216.7 as the domestic total. Argyle only at 44 million. And The Beekeeper at a shocking $65 million. A film that I never imagined could even get half of that. So, yes, that's correct. Pew would be Oppenheimer. Nice job, Todd Thatcher. I was also thinking Black Widow, right? So Black Widow was really close. Wasn't it 80 million? It's right in that neck. And again, what's interesting, when you first see that, like, these are the 4 people that their biggest debut, you try to figure out what was Oppenheimer. That's correct. But that could change, right? If it is Oppenheimer, which I believe you're correct, Todd, that means we could change that coming up tomorrow if the actual for today comes in above 82.5 million and beat Oppenheimer. Then we'll add Florence Pugh's list of the best debuts ever. Not Zendaya, though, because she was in Spider-Man. Spider-Man's bigger than Dune 2. It just is. All right, guys, we're back tonight, Sunday. Thank you, Todd. What a wonderful comment. Perfect to clear the stream out as we're done here. I'll see you tonight on the Sunday Evening Spectacular, live from LA. Thanks for being here on Breaking Box Office. See you next time. Peace out.